Afternoon, VC. All right, so sometime last week, or maybe just the week before, I started to put together a list of records that I'm going to be looking for at WFMU in October. And I just wanted to keep it a pretty concise list of the records that I've been looking for the longest, ones that have eluded me. Most of them, when you look at Discogs, there's usually none available for sale or very few, and if there is one for sale, it's some crazy situation with the record is in Italy or something like that, and the seller's name is Contact Before Buying, and they want 900 euros or before shipping, something crazy like that. So I put together this list of 15 records, and one night, just for shits and giggles, it's like, let me see if even any of these are out there on the internet, on eBay, for sale in any capacity. And I went through all 15 records. I want to say there was one copy of just one of them in horrible condition for any astronomical price. But in searching for these records, I came across two items that I picked up that I'm excited about. So we're going to show you these, and then I got just a few other things here from yesterday that I picked up with the rest of my birthday allowance at Repo. But yeah, so I'm on eBay, and one of the records on my WFMU list is it's the Lloyd Miller. I've been looking for Impressions of Afghanistan, with the Afghan ensemble that he put together at the University of Utah. That one seems to be the most difficult to find, even for sale at all, or at least a reputable seller. One that's not going to ship it to you in a pizza box. Anyway, I found these two items. The first being a book, Afghan Music and Dance, Shared Arts of Persia's Past, highlighting 1970s Herat, from Lloyd Miller, PhD, and Catherine St. John. A lovely book. Kind of rare. There is one more of these on eBay for sale. The seller was a bit dicey, and it was way more expensive. I think they wanted $45 for this book, and I threw a bid of like $27 and change, and they took it. The thing that's nice about this particular copy is it is inscribed, so autographed by Lloyd Miller himself, to my friend, I think it's Cawthon, Lloyd Miller. So yeah, originally published in 1976. This, I think, is a 2012 version of the book, from Eastern Arts in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'll read a bit of the beginning on the back to give you a kind of a basis on Lloyd Miller. In 1957, ethnomusicologist Jasmine Lloyd Miller traveled to Iran, where he began his research on Persian and related music systems. At that time, there had been almost no extensive or reliable writings on music of the area, so he decided to be one of, if not the first Western scholars to divulge the secrets of this highly evolved, complex tradition. Miller began playing santur and tried a few other instruments, and later in Paris in 1961 expanded his interest to include Afghan music. Darush Savat, acclaimed santur and sitar master who was teaching in Paris, accepted Miller as a disciple and inducted him into the inner circle of Persian modal music. When Miller returned to the U.S. to study at BYU in 1963, he began writing on Persian and Afghan music and was the first American scholar to publish his findings on the subject. He would later get his PhD at the University of Utah and assemble a group of musicians, and there's been a lot of records put out, reissued anyway, from Now Again, of his catalog. So that's a great book. I have to dig into that. I'm still kind of stuck on the Jap Rock sampler book. It's a difficult read. I'm trying to get through that so I can move on to one of these other books that I have. But also, I stumbled upon this record. It was a seller in Texas. They wanted $150 for the record. I couldn't find anything to match it on Discogs. I had a feeling it was legit. I called Teddy and spoke to Teddy about it, and he confirmed that it is no doubt a legit LP. And so I threw a lowball offer. Again, they wanted $150. I threw a lowball under $100 at the seller, and they instantly took it. And so it came, and it is his first release. It's got a plain cover that he pasted on a photo on, but it's Near and Far East, 12 Modes and Melodies of the Orient. So yeah, there's your labels. This is the vinyl matches exactly to the 300 that were pressed in 1966 that had an artwork, manufactured cover. And so on the A side you have his interpretations of different modal music, basically and traditional music from these countries of Japan, China, there's two from songs from Vietnam, one with vocals, Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand. On the B side you have India, Afghanistan, Iran, Turkey, and Iraq. I've listened to this. It's in fantastic shape. There is just a tad of surface noise. I've cleaned it once. I need to try cleaning it again. But I'd say VG Plus as it was advertised. Very enjoyable. The first Vietnam cut on the A side is my favorite on that side. And then surprisingly, the Iraq song, the last song, which is one of the longest on the album, is absolutely remarkable. Really good. I've almost pulled the trigger on a reissue this a bunch of times. I've had it in my cart twice. They even lowered the price, and I don't know why I forgot to buy it from Dusty Groove. But I stumbled on this copy, so now I don't need to buy that. But I'll show you the cover. Lloyd Miller made and pasted this cover on himself. If I'm to go by the only other paste-on cover album that's on Discogs and the notes, I guess there were 300 pressed of that as well in Arizona, and then sent to Lloyd, and then he did the covers himself. And this one was sold in the University of Utah bookstore. The original price sticker from that bookstore is on the back. University Bookstore, U of U, $3.75. This artwork would eventually become the artwork for the reissue of Near and Far East in 1969. The original was 66, but that was a manufactured cover, and it says, in a big block, Lloyd Miller and his ensemble or whatever. So, yeah, this is a pretty, the only one. It's not listed on Discogs, so I'm gonna have to list it on there when I get around to it. But yeah, probably one of the earliest copies that he got to sell. Talking with Teddy, pretty much he had them to probably sell at performances and at the bookstores at BYU and University of Utah or what have you. So who knows how, if it's an advanced copy, part of the 300 original pressings before they got covers, who knows, or ones he had left over. I'm looking into that. But it's probably one of the rarest records I've ever found. At least, maybe it won't be in the future. Find out, there's a bunch of these around. I don't know, but I'm really stoked to have found that record. And then yesterday I went out and got a good bit of exercise. I have this big loop that I walk in my old neighborhood, and in the middle of the route is repo. That's kind of my deal if I'm going to go and do this big loop. I get a short break going in and looking around repo, and then I get to climb the hill from out of there to end off the exercising. But digging in the crates counts too. Found this record, and this is basically John 6-inch pianist's fault. He had shown this a while back and played a sample, and it's really dope record. It was on the wall for a very good price. I usually don't buy records on the wall from repo, but this was there. Sam Dees, The Show Must Go On Atlantic, an original promo, I think from 1975. The opening cut, Child of the Streets, is dope as fuck. That's why I picked this record up. I've only listened to the first couple of tracks just to see how the record sounds. I cleaned it, so I'm going to go back and listen to the whole thing today, but that opening cut is super dope. Yeah, Sam Dees, really good soul, some funky stuff on here. Personnel includes Glenn Woods on lead guitar, David Kamen on bass guitar, Sherman Fats Carson on drums. I'm not sure who's on the piano or organ on this, which is really good on this. Interested to know who did that. It doesn't really say in the notes. It's got the original insert. It's a nice jacket too, really kind of high quality jacket for Atlantic for 1975. Original insert with the other records for sale. That one right there I almost got from Maslow, Aretha Franklin, Amazing Grace. I just missed out on his auction there. Yeah, this one's probably VG, in between VG and VG plus. It was listed as VG plus. I don't think it's quite that. It's somewhere kind of in between. It's got a little bit of surface noise. I've cleaned it, but it was definitely loved. I think that's why the price was low. But stoked to have found that. It's the first time I've ever seen the record around here, and I know that copies online can kind of go up, be expensive for VG plus and up. So, and to be a promo, I was very stoked to find that. So there's that. Now the record I was in there to look for, I actually found, because their Beatles stuff is now all out from the back or from Jimmy's house or wherever he had it. Stuff I'd never seen in there. There's a lot of good Beatles stuff in there right now if you're into the Beatles. I've had this 7-inch on my want list for quite a while, actually before I got into the Beatles. I was looking for some Plastic Ono Band just because they did a song with Ornette Coleman and his group on the one album that I have, and this is their first single, Cold Turkey, on the A side, and Don't Worry, Kyoko, Mummy's Only Looking for a Hand in the Snow on the B side. Guitars are killer on both sides of this, especially the B side, super killer guitars. The B side though, Yoko is going full psychopath. Holy fuck. It's like I told John and Bill, that's not something that Maslow's going to put on at a dinner party. That's for goddamn sure. But yeah, really cool to find this 7-inch for, I don't know, it was probably $5 or less. Now that's it for this week. I hope you're all well. Peace.